François Kollar was born in Senec. He was born in 1904, and so he was born in the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. He was only 20 years old when he left his home country. He went to Paris because he wanted to become a photographer. That was 1924, and he found a job in Paris working in a factory for making cars. This was a Renault factory in Billancourt, just outside Paris. He worked there for about 2.5 years, and then he left and started working in printing companies, for newspapers, illustrated newspapers, and he was making photographs. For example, he worked for a company making reproductions of artworks. And I think he learned a lot from that experience because he learned a lot about composition, looking at the artworks and photographing them. In 1930, he set up his own studio in Paris with some help of a friend who was a sculptor, an American sculptor. And he started making photographs for publicity with his wife, who he married also in 1930. He was working on this very big commission called La France Travail, France at Work. The images that he took illustrated the books nearly completely. That's 82% of the images in the books are his. So you can see that it was really specific. They didn't ask lots of photographers to make images for their books. It was just him. And what is amazing is how the images complete the text and add information, in fact, to what is being said in the text. Some of the texts are very descriptive, and you can learn about each industry. That's why I was saying that the images are very good, because they will illustrate and they will add information to what is not in the text. That's why he is such a good photographer. He was able to capture in one frame the information that the people who had commissioned him the work wanted to see. So in fact his photography is quite narrative. It's documentary, but it also each photo has a story to tell. What is really amazing about François Kollar is the fact that he can make a shot like that outside. He can also make very good images in mine shafts underneath the ground where there's hardly any light. He can make photographs of fashion in a studio, trying to bring out the specific qualities of the material that's been used, or the skin, the face, the hair, specific details. And also he was one of the first to make shots for fashion outside the studio, in the fields and so on. He knew exactly how to use the modern photographic techniques like photomontage, solarization, and techniques that were used, for example, by people like Moelinage and Man Ray in the 1920s. And he was inspired by that. Some images are stunningly composed. They look like paintings from the 16th century, Dutch, Flemish paintings. He did a lot for fashion magazines, like, for example, Harper's Bazaar. That lasted for 15 years. And in fact, it was fashion that took him from the 1940s to the 1950s, because during the Second World War, he stopped making photographs. He went to the country and he lived with his family away from any sort of collaboration with the government in power. And he decided to open up a small shop selling some equipment for the kitchen and the house, electrical equipment. And he came back to Paris in 1945, opened up a new studio, and in fact it was fashion that helped him come back into the photographic scene. And in 1951, the Colonial Economic Agency of France sent him to do a commission in Africa. This was what they called l'Afrique occidentale française. So it was French West Africa, and he did a complete survey of 4 countries in Africa. That's Burkina Faso, Mali, Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire, the Ivory Coast. Here he was making photographs of everything, the local life, the farming of pineapples, for example, coffee, wood, all the industries that were linked to using these base materials that were shipped out of Africa into France.
Výstava François Kollar Práca pohľadu je reinštaláciou výstavy z Paríža v galérii Jeu de Paume. Galéria Jeu de Paume sa rozhodla urobiť veľkú retrospektívu života a diela Françoisa Kollara, nakoľko vo Francúzsku sa nachádzajú všetky podstatné zdroje. François Kollar spadá tou svojou hlavnou časťou práce do obdobia 30. rokov do moderny. Gro výstavy je o projekte Pracujúce Francúzsko, ale zároveň je tu množstvo fotografií, ktoré sa viažú vlastne na modernizmus vo fotografii, či už sú to portréty alebo reklamné snímky. A tým vlastne tak trochu pokračujeme v tom trende mapovania tých 30. 40. rokov toho obdobia moderny aj u nás.
The idea behind the exhibition in Paris is that the Jeu de Paume has a mission to show the donations that people give of photographic archives to the state. So that was the real motivation behind the programming of the exhibition in Paris.
Toto je vlastne druhá výstava Françoisa Kollara v Slovenskej národnej galérii, pretože jeho prvá výstava sa konala ešte vo vodných kasárniach v roku 1965 a tu pripravoval ešte on sám. A toto je ako keby taká druhá retrospektívna, komplexné spracovanie jeho života a diela. Vlastne je to taký opätovný návrat na miesto činu.